Message Talk Show is back again, back.
Find the links on Master the Message and some links on the Message Talk Show on Facebook.
The Message Talk Show is back again, back.
Press the share button. Look at me and press the share button now. Okay, so welcome to my guest today, Mr. Seymour Mattis, who had to travel all the way from Jamaica today. So because he had to travel today, it made him late. The airplane made him late. So, that's why he's popping in a few minutes apart from time. But welcome, Mr. Mattis. How are you today, sir?
I'm fine, thank you, Alan.
You're keeping well?
Yes, indeed.
And I don't know, I can see the Jamaica flag behind you there, man. So it took you a time to put the Jamaica flag up just to make sure there is no misunderstanding as to who you represent. Am I clear?
Absolutely correct. And not only that, we have to remember that Jamaica has just celebrated its 58th Independence Day this year. Okay, that's on the 6th of August.
Right.
So the flag, it's the law.
Hence the flag. And how did you celebrate it?
Well, we had an Emancipation Day, we call Independence Day, on the 1st of August. Celebrating this with a lot of Jamaican principals and the Ministry of Education representative, and some UK supporters.
So, guys, let me tell you, this guy I'm talking to is a high up guy. He's already dropping in the names. He's already dropping in the names of who he's connected to. With the Jamaican high society crew. So, before we do any further, let me just drop in my introduction.
The Message Talk Show is back again, back.
Find the links on Master of Messaging and the links on the Message Talk Show on Facebook. In the Message Talk Show, we believe that passionate individuals bring change. Passionate individuals and entrepreneurs bring the change that we're looking for in our society. So we love content creators, we love educators, we love coaches, we love speakers. These are all the people we work with to help them get their message out. And this is what we help people do. We help them go from unknown to unforgettable, because that's key. In today's age of social media, you need to become unforgettable. So when people hear you, when people see you, they go, wow, that guy, I just remembered that guy. He's amazing. What he's saying is touching, but how he says it, when he says it. So guys, the Message Talk Show is for you. Just tune in. So we broadcast on Thursday, 11 o'clock every week without fail. So call your friends, call your mates, call your people, press the share button. And if you can't tune in for the live show, you can tune in for the replay. The replay is always there on YouTube and on Facebook. So as I said, today we have a very special guest in house. Now let me just read the bio this gentleman sent me. There are some people, when you get their bios, you say, okay, that's not too bad. And I'll read all of it. But this bio, man, I was thinking, my God, man, this bio is long, but I have to extract from this bio because this gentleman is doing a lot when it comes to education. And he's going to be telling us the reasons behind what he does, and how he does it, and how he's been impacting people's lives since 2007. He's been driving an educational front, not just in the UK, but in Jamaica as well. This guy is a global player when it comes to education. So let me just read the bio for you now. Seymour Mattis is an educator, HR consultant, social entrepreneur, and executive director, founder of Vital Education Enterprise and Training, Vital Eat Limited. It's an organization that provides education and training for children, young people, and adults since 2007. He is the managing director of iParole, International Professional Education Recruitment Organization for teachers, pivotal for recruiting teachers. He is the chairman of Jamaica Education Task Force. It's a leading diaspora organization in the UK for supporting holistic education in Jamaica with training, STEM, SEND, curriculum support, youth entrepreneurship, and resources. Man, this gentleman is doing a lot for education. So Seymour, why education? What got you there? Because your degree was not initially in education, was it?
Well, my first degree was in material science and technology, but it's very science orientated anyway. So that's what actually led me into teaching to some degree. But I didn't actually start out as being a teacher. I started out in the engineering materials technology world. So I came from industry really. And because I was doing a little bit of sort of tutoring in the background, and I also did some tuition Mile End, East London, at a supplementary school there, and later in Leytonstone, Waltham Forest. And then I actually started to lead on educational programs since 1998, where I started off our supplementary school in the UK as Clapton NTCG Supplementary School, initially in Clapton, Hackney. And then as we progressed, we decided that the organization was really growing and we need to expand and do more. So that's when we formed Vital Education Enterprise and Training Limited in 2007. And we've never looked back since then. So I've always had a passion since I was a young boy for teaching, but I didn't really see it as a career. You know, it's just something that grew on me, and people just who were actually benefiting from what I was doing thought I'd make an excellent teacher. So I was told, you know, and that's why I became involved. So I did my PGC and obtained my qualified teacher status. Did some teaching in schools as well as the sixth form, college, etc. And then, you know, I never looked back, you know, from that field.
So you stepped out of mainstream and went to starting what we call the supplementary schools, because which is an additional provision. Why?
Well, it started off at a church I was attending, where a lot of parents knew that I was a teacher, and they had concerns about the underachievement of their children. So they asked me if I could do something about that. So I did a survey to ensure that you know, I had interest, and the survey was really successful. And since 1998, we've started our supplementary school in Hackney, as I mentioned, and that's what actually triggered it. Parents, really. Parents.
It was the parents. So
needs.
the parents saw their kids, and they thought that the kids were failing. The system was failing their kids.
Absolutely, and it still is. You know, to be quite honest, I'm not blaming the system itself exclusively, but they're a large part of the failure, because they could have done a lot more to help a lot of the young black you know, children and young people.
Well, let me phrase the question slightly different then. Why are there so many conditions that are conducive to holding our young people back in our educational system?
Well, all you need to do is take a look down the history route, and you see what's happening there. The history itself, anyway, is not a true reflection of black people's culture. It's just now they begin to look at it, but the history itself is something that's worked against us, and especially when it comes to like Black History Month that we celebrate, October. What we used to see initially is a lot of slavery sort of you know, initiatives. All you see is slavery and not about achievements. And it's all right to have achievements about the Americans and so on. But we live in UK, and we need to reflect that sort of Black history, so they can see that they're Black achievers here in the UK.
So basically, what you're saying then, the schools have an issue with identity.
Absolutely, the problem.
So because they're not feeding the young people's minds with things that they can identify with. Therefore, it doesn't help them to grow.
Absolutely. I think the schools, they've been doing better to some extent, but there's still a long way to go. I think they need to address the cultural values of each community. And with Black people in this country, we're not just from the Caribbean. We're from various parts of Africa in particular. And that's our supplementary school is anyway. It's quite diverse, even Black community. We've had students from across the Caribbean, Trinidad, Tobago, Barbados, Jamaica, Grenada, all across the Caribbean, as well as various African countries.
So what is being offered that's so different at the supplementary schools?
Well, first of all, when they walk in and they see people like themselves, they feel more motivated by seeing people like themselves in front of them and who has actually achieved. And that is a great motivator for them. But we do English, maths, and science. We support them with that, and we give them a personalized support that aspires them to actually go on to achieve great things. As a matter of fact, we had one boy who is not the only one, but I'm just citing just one example here. We had one boy called Adam. He actually achieved some of the highest grades in the country. He achieved level 9s when the exams first came out for GCSE. Level 9 in English language, level 9 in English literature, and level 9 in mathematics.
No, please. Let me stall you there a bit because for those of us who've been outside the education system for the past, probably 30 years ago, what does level 9 mean?
Well, they call it 9 to 1. Level 9 is the highest possible grade you can achieve, which is cutting into sort of the ACE level standard. That's basically where that one is. So if you can achieve a level 9, you'll be in a good position to achieve a very high grade in A levels. You continue to do the work, So that's basically where it is.
And how long do most of the kids spend with you? From what age do they come in?
They start at age 5, and we go up to A levels, but we largely have GCSE up to GCSE students. So it's normally 5 till 16 and 18 if they choose to continue with the A level.
Wow. Now, today we're talking about emancipating young people emancipating of the young people's lives through education. And the word emancipation, we're talking about freedom. Why do you see education as the key to more or less lighting up our community?
Well, education for us is one of the main avenue for us to achieve success for our community and for ourselves individually. Because we don't have let's face it, our community is not one of the most richest. So we need to rely on something other than just economics to actually get through. So education is, I would say, the most important thing for us to actually, achieve things, even economically.
Wow. Well, yes, it's a key skill. It's a key ingredient. But we've like we said earlier, we've had parents complaining from time to time that the education system has been failing their children, especially Black boys. Now, I remember some years ago, there was research that was carried out among especially Black boys, and it was found that up to primary school, there's some age in primary school where the boys were excelling. They were outperforming the indigenous population. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And then
that's
something
at primary
happens.
school.
Sorry?
That's at primary school.
That's at primary school. And then something happens when they get into secondary education, and suddenly all the stats just fall away. The performance falls away. Why is that?
Well, that is something that we've been trying to wrap our heads around for many years. How comes that really happens? And with all the statistics and whatever they've done, they still haven't really addressed that problem as yet. For some reason or other, I don't think their needs were really catered for well enough at secondary school. So for one thing or the other, I think they could have actually, maybe engaged more with parents to ensure that these children needs are met. And it's something that that they failed on in the secondary level. They're trying to address it at the moment with academies and so on, but I still think they have a long way to go, because what I used to find is that a lot of the parents didn't even know what level GCSEs their children were actually going to be doing in their GCSEs examinations. So that is a loser for a start, because you need to engage with the parents and let them know exactly what their children is actually doing. What they do, they put a lot of the students in for foundation grades, when the parents could have been informed about how well they were doing or how badly they were doing, and take the necessary actions to address that. But the schools, a lot of schools never did that, and that's why a lot of them end up sort of underachieving, among other things.
Wow, that is when you see something repeated time and time again over the years, and somehow it's almost as if there's no real fix. There is no real fix. And as the time goes by, it's another generation who are losing out.
Absolutely.
In terms of not getting the right experiences, not getting the right exposure, and for whatever reason, they're losing out. So one of the things that you focus a lot on is Black History Month. Why
Yes.
Black History Month?
Well, it's the only month that's, if you like, been assigned to us.
What do you mean it's the only month we have?
No. That's not. No, it's not the only one. Black history is really 24/7. So technically speaking, there's no real Black History month for the sake of it. Black history is every day.
Yes.
If you look at how the history is written, as I said, it gives a false impression of Black people, really, because before the 16th century, Black people were great achievers. They were royalties in their own land. They achieved significant things, and all that was actually hidden away from us. The history book shows just Black people as slaves, underachievers, and that white people are the ones that achieve everything, and Black people are nothing really, which is totally false. Black people were great achievers before the 16th century.
Wow.
Even in the UK and Europe on a whole.
So those are the things that help to keep us back in our minds. Then, really.
Absolutely. It's what you actually project to people that actually perceive to be something that is part of their experience. And they think, well, that's the way that's the way it's always been for us. So therefore, we like just accept that we always have to struggle, and that's part of our life. But it shouldn't really be that way, because Black people were great achievers before those times. So why they're just showing about the and also the way the way history is taught, they're talking about King George, they're talking about all the other white sort of a person they know of, right? Whatever they've done, and they don't show anything positive about black people.
But we must have now, say in the last 20 years now, we must have Black professionals who've now climbed the system, accelerated in the system, promoted within the system to somehow cause those kind of changes so that the content and the curriculum starts to reflect us a bit more throughout the year?
Yeah, actually, there are lots of high achievers among Black people. And we're not just talking about university now, because that's big, but we're talking about within the United Kingdom itself. There are lots of high achievers. And we have to try and find ways to try and, have these people, if you like, in a way, portrayed where they can see that there are Black achievers within our community. And because they've achieved, they can also achieve. If you've noticed, when I've actually promoted Black History events, I did one, that was the biggest one we've ever done, one in Newham, one in Waltham Forest, and the final one was in Hackney. And that was quite successful, where we brought lots of different Black achievers, and the students were able to see those people and see them as role models, and at least have an idea that they can achieve too.
What was the event called? What was the event called? What was your event called?
Well, it's just Black History. Yeah, we had a theme to it. We always have a different theme, but it's about achievements in life, basically.
So these happen every year?
Yes.
Annual events during Black History Month.
Yeah, we do that in Black History Month, but we don't just do that exclusively in Black History Month. We just whenever we have the opportunity to invite some high-profile Black person down to help to motivate the students, we actually bring them down. We don't have to wait until Black History Month to do that. As soon as the opportunity, exactly. As soon as the opportunity presents itself, we just go with it. But motivation is very, very important.
Now, over the years, we've seen, because I remember when I'm talking about, say, 20 years ago now, when my eldest child,
yeah,
and there was the growth, there was the explosion of supplementary schools. There's like an explosion of supplementary schools. But over the years, we have seen almost the demise of supplementary schools. Why is that?
Well, if I should charge for the amount of times interviews and people ask me that question, I'd be a multi-billionaire.
Well, don't charge me today. Don't charge me today.
No, but really, what it is, as you know, supplementary school is part of our community. Okay, we were one of the first groups, if you like, to start supplementary schools to try and address the needs of our children. And what's happened, a lot of them actually sprung up over the years. Unfortunately, we had a reliance on the, if you like, the system, like local authorities, etc., for funding.
Government funding, okay.
Yeah, for funding. And when monies were more, if like there were more of it, let's say, to spend, it was easier for funders to actually donate to whatever. And over time, over the past few years in particular, what's happening, there was a demise in funding, and supplementary schools, a lot of them disappeared because they were not receiving funding. The ones that survived are the ones that didn't exclusively depend on funding to operate. And so that's why a lot of them are not around anymore, because they rely on funding to operate. And in all honesty, the governments, whichever government it is, they don't really care enough about these issues to be able to invest in such a program. And maybe enough of us have not actually raised our voices to show these guys are important. Supplementary schools are, and that is an integral part of our community, just like a mosque is to the Asian community, and Muslim community.
Well, recently I've seen, I mean, since the Black Lives Matter campaign across the world, that George Floyd, and I didn't even ask you about that. Did you participate in some of the marches? I did. You did?
Yes, I believe action speaks louder than words, right? And I did go on one march in particular. and that was quite good. And I was quite happy to be there. I marched all the way down to Trafalgar Square, and I listened to the various speakers and interacted with them as well. You know, I think there's obviously that was one of the bravest things I've seen a lot of young people do, and they were very serious about this. But you see, when you have issues such as the level of racial discrimination that we've seen, it started in the United States, but it boiled over here because people suffer this all the time. You know, and you know that one was at the hands of, if you like, police officers. But this racism is very systemic.
Yeah, it's deeper.
It absolutely it's systemic because it's operating from the top right down to the ordinary echelon of society.
Well,
and,
one of the positive things that I think has come out of the whole Black Lives Matter campaign over the past, two to 3 months. And I've seen commercial companies now, I've seen adverts on CNN, I've seen companies come out to offer programs, putting money behind programs in our communities to help develop and educate Black lives. I've seen that on the American TV. I've not seen that on the British TV yet.
No, Britain is always behind with these things, to be quite honest with you. It doesn't mean that things are not happening. I'm yet to see, but I've heard that Lloyd says they were benefactors in some way from the slave trade.
Yeah, they apologized.
They apologize, but as they asked me in interviews already, you know, an apology is not enough.
The apologies come. Okay, but the apologies are a starting point. But when people put money behind what their mouth's saying, then it's taken seriously.
Absolutely, put their money where their mouth is.
Put their money where their mouth is. So,
absolutely. Some
scholarship funds, some university funds, some programs that help Black lives tap into education, and it's helped to sponsor them. Not just give money to people, sponsor the education, sponsor the materials.
Absolutely. Sponsor, again, encourage supplementary school. As I said to you, it's an integral part of our community. Encourage community organizations to come forward. And don't let us have to jump through hoops to actually receive funding. Just make it available.
Let me clarify that one for you. When you say jump through hoops to pull down funding, what do you mean?
It means then we shouldn't be actually trying to complete some application process that needs the equivalent of a PhD to do so. Which is what a lot of them do. They make things so difficult. All you need for to release such a funding is, yes, there needs to be accountability and some sort of a report structure to show that the money has been well spent, okay, and you give a report on the situation.
True, I'm talking for the ones, because it's proof of concept, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So proof of concept that your organization exists and that you have been getting results, and by getting additional resources, you can scale the results that you're getting.
Absolutely. That's what's needed. We need more. I tell you right now, I keep saying to people, and don't laugh about this one, but I say to people normally, I said, you give us the funds, we'll move mountains, right? You just give it the funding and you'll see what happens, because I know what to do. A lot of my colleagues know what to do. But if we don't get the support, we're not going to be able to achieve much. And all the things you're talking about, gun, knife crimes and stuff like that, a lot of that would be reduced. And they're trying to.
That's why. Seymour, man, that's why the title is called Emancipation of Young Lives. Emancipation. Because
absolutely.
It's a freedom of thought. It's a freedom of thinking. It's a freedom to think that you can change your own life through the education you receive. Absolutely.
But one of the crucial things that we need to focus on in our community is mentoring. And we're talking about positive role models in our community. But some of these mentors, you may need to actually at least support their expenses to come out. some people do it out of goodwill, but we can't always rely on goodwill. We need to have a system where at least persons will know that if they do support, our young people, they will receive some sort of
Right.
expenses.
So we need some philanthropists then. We need guys like Google, Facebook, Microsoft, those big guys who've made millions from
Virgin,
from our young
VA,
people.
don't let them off.
To
All
put
these
some
guys
funds
will
in
benefit.
place.
Yeah, absolutely. All those and the banks, all
And the
those
banks.
all those that's benefited from black people should really put something in the pot to ensure that our community continue to thrive and function. You have to help these young people. If you don't help them, we're going to be talking about the same problem we've been talking about for quite a number of years. And it's all right getting a bin and saying, go and dump your knife in this bin, or put your gun in that bin. That's not enough.
Yeah.
We want to address the root cause of the problem, not just the problem itself. We want to address the root cause of it. And if you start with helping these young people from a young age to have a sense of self-worth, okay, it will make a big difference to their lives. So then we as I said, our group and colleagues, like-minded colleagues, are able to do that. But if we don't get the support, there's only so much we can do. We're very limited in what we can do.
Okay.
And we are feeling.
So what does success look like for Vital Eat? What does success look like?
Success really is when the children actually have come through the system. They're able to express themselves well. They achieve great SATs results, great GCSE results, and go on to university, and in the end, they basically come out achieving great jobs that they can, actually maintain themselves and also support their community.
And do you have a program whereby they can come back and give back into the system, into your system again, to help those coming through?
Absolutely, that's integral part of what we do. We do get that all the time. We get the lawyers come back, the engineers, the scientists. They all come back and they actually give a motivational talk, to the point where we used to have like keynote speakers that come from various places. We have enough of those now. If you like, who's acclimated to our system, they can come back as a keynote. I remember one in particular is a lawyer. I invited him along to come and just share with the students about his achievement. And we had a keynote speaker. And when he actually gave his talk, the keynote speaker gave way another slot for him to have to do another slot. And that's what we're talking about.
Success. That is success for you. That is success.
Absolutely.
For you. So in wrapping up the show today, and in talking about emancipating young minds, and there was one thing I remember this. I remember this, and I need to find this. Yes. Oh yes, it was Dr. Rochelle Carr who came on the show a few weeks ago, and she used the word respect, and I love this one. I love this, and I thought I'd just share this. Right? She used the word respect, and it's an acronym that she uses in an organization, and she says, in order to have respect, in order to show respect, you have to be resourceful. Yeah. You have to be ethical in your approach. You have to be selfless. You have to be purposeful and helpful. You have to be engaging. You have to be caring, and you have to be teachable. And these are some of the principles that she enshrines in her organization. And I can imagine that you have yours as well, in trying to get the kids to help each other, to get the mentors to help, and for everybody to be teachable and coachable.
Absolutely. All that is very important. Some of our students, when we're doing events, they come and they actually use their talents to actually support the community, because we do community things. Also, they realize that they have to give back, which is something that needs to be fostered. It's not just about you actually achieving and moving on and pull up the if you like, the drawbridge from under you when you actually get there. We encourage them to actually support their own community,
All
not
right.
just Vital East Supplementary School, but a
Okay.
community in
So,
a
so
whole.
tell us about then. Tell us about the Jamaica Education Task Force that you're really spearheading in across in Jamaica and here.
Right.
What's that all about?
Okay. Jamaica Education Task Force UK. We're the leading organization in the United Kingdom for supporting holistic education in Jamaica. Okay. That means they say from cradle to the grave, so to speak. I don't even like to use that terminology. I don't even like it at all. I say from being a very young age to adulthood.
Yeah, young to adult. Okay.
That's more like it. And we were formed in 2013 at the Jamaican High Commission in UK by educators, and we are comprised of other educators. Some are lecturers, but also teachers as well, and basically educational professionals. And what we do each year, we actually attend Jamaica and do workshops we started off in STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. We started off with STEM in supporting students from primary to secondary. And we go across the island and we actually run these workshops. We partnered with Imperial College London, and we're quite grateful for their support. The lead person, Dr. Sunday Papahola, who still does that, to be quite honest. He's so impacting that he's running that in Nigeria as well as other countries. Yes.
He's competing into Nigeria. Wow.
Yes, well, that one is on the Creative Future program. We have a bigger one than that for Jet UK anyway, which is a Brighter Life Incentive Education Project, BLIEP, that where all our programs run under. So we actually, our workshops now consist of not just STEM, but also literacy and English, modern foreign languages, special educational needs, and computer science, that kind of thing. And we keep on expanding because we have those professionals on board.
So these one-day workshops are run in the Caribbean and in Jamaica?
We actually run them in Jamaica. Right. We start off, as I said, doing just for the students initially, and then we expanded that with our secretary, and board member Jacqueline Lewis, who she's a senior lecturer at a university, Royal University of Hampton. She actually is a primary STEM teacher trainer at a university. So she actually used that skill to train teachers in Jamaica. And now we have on board a head teacher called Dr. Carol Nicholson, who actually, she runs a special educational needs school here, and she's actually utilizing those skills to support as well. As well, we have computer science, a technologist, Dr. Delprat, O'Neill Delprat, Dr. O'Neill Delprat, and he actually uses his skills to support. And what we have others, who are in entrepreneurship, like Sylvia, and also other colleagues. And Anthony, who is a lead for English and literacy, is the one in charge of that area. Okay, wow. So we have quite a solid team at the moment, and more, right? If I should list the whole group, but what we do, we actually provide, as I said, the workshops, and we also now during this pandemic, we're actually doing online Zoom support. We also have used that as a mechanism for having meetings with the principals in Jamaica. We have a principals group, actually, a WhatsApp group that we have here, and we just had our Emancipation Day fundraising quiz, Zoom quiz, with Sean Wallace from the Chase. He was the host, and also Simone Frazier, who's been if you like, broadcast journalist working on the TV, and she's also a radio presenter herself.
Wow.
Okay, she was the MC on the program.
So a lot of things are happening. A lot of things are happening.
Lots of things are happening. So we're supporting Jamaica in that sort of way, but also we send down resources. I call it barrel of resources to various under-resourced schools in Jamaica all the time. You know, so we are supporting in various ways. You know,
Wow.
if people are,
Wow.
if there are persons out there with textbooks, exercise books, pencils, on, you know, laptops, that's a great need in Jamaica at the moment due to the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of schools are rural, and they could do with those sort of items to support the students, you know, in Jamaica. So whatever a person can do, if they want to donate, they can contact us, and we can show them how to do that. We are a voluntary group, by the way. We're not paid. We're doing this purely on a voluntary basis. So
where would they contact you?
Well, our website is www.jet-uk.org.uk. That's the website. We're on Facebook at JETUK.org, JETUK.org, and that's our Facebook. And for Twitter, it's at JETUK3. And if they want to contact us in other ways, they can do, but they can also give me a call personally on the public mobile, my public mobile, on 07-970-327-743. That's 07-970-327-743, and that's Seymour Mattis. They can also email for the easy life. If I just give one of the emails, which covers both, vitalEET@hotmail.co.uk. That's vitalEET@hotmail.co.uk. So it's all lowercase. So if they email me for both, either Jet UK or Vital, that's fine. They can get me at that email address. Okay, rather than giving the official ones, it's a lot easier to email me that way. Okay.
So I normally ask my interviewees to just wrap up and give a final word. You know, when you interview black professionals and you ask for a word or a sentence, they give you a paragraph. And so in the shortest time possible, what is it that you could, what is it that you would say now to a generation right now, young people, and also young people who've become adults and now looking to help the next generation? What would you say to all of them? What would you say?
Well, I would say try and be an excellent role model for those young people, because that's the only thing that will really help them to aspire to be what they want to be. Being a positive role model for them, you know, and always be willing to selflessly give you support where possible.
Be an excellent role model.
Role model.
Role model. That's, you know, that's a tall order. Be an excellent role model. Strive for excellence in everything you do.
Be a positive role model. When I say excellent, we're not talking about perfection here. None of us are perfect. So let's rule it out altogether. What by that we mean, you know, just be a positive role model and be able to, you know, be there for someone to say, you know, yes, I like what you stand for, like what you do. I would like to aspire to be like that. That's the kind of thing we're talking about. You know,
okay. You know. Right, well, before we go, I need to just. We got so busy talking, I forgot the sponsor. Before we go, let's just put in a word from the sponsor.
You are listening to the Message Talk Show and Podcast. Do you believe you have something to share? Do you believe you have something to contribute? Do you have a story to tell the world, to share with your community? Gandhi said, man often becomes what he believes himself to be. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. So join us on the Message Talk Show and Podcast with host Alex Gordon.
So, Seymour, thank you for coming on the show today, man. You know, it's just been a lot of information you've shared about the impact you're having in our community, helping young black boys, young black girls, our young people, just to stand on their own feet. You know, you would imagine that after 40, 50 years in this country, it wouldn't still feel so hard. Am I right? It feels difficult. It feels difficult. We're still treading the same road.
Yes. Unfortunately, it's not going to change anytime too soon. That's why we need to be positive about ourselves.
Wow.
You know, yeah, we need to be positive about our own selves, and we need to be positive about our children. We need to be positive about other young people in terms of just being there to support them. Everyone needs, we've talked about mentoring, right? If we can mentor anyone within our community to try and help them along, that will be quite useful. Very often we achieve things, but we just leave others behind.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, but you know,
you called it earlier. We shut the door behind us.
We shut the door behind us, drop the drawbridge behind us. We need to do much better. We blame other communities for not being there for us, but we're not there enough for ourselves, and we need to do more of that. Okay, and that's basically what it is.
So we need to do more. We need to help people cross over, cross the bridge.
Absolutely the point. Absolutely
cross
the
the
point.
bridge. Hold the bridge in place.
Everyone needs it. You know yourself. You know yourself, indeed. You know yourself that somebody must have helped you along the way, right?
Amen.
Not just your own family. So we need to be there likewise for others. You know, that's one thing I feel proud about. Okay. I think I've lost you there.
No, keep talking, man. I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. I'm saying that we need to be there for others within our community and try and inspire them to achieve things. It's not just running organization that I do to deliver on education. I actually go and represent parents within schools. I actually represent excluded students. I did a lot of that. This is why I'm a little bit resentful to like someone like Michael Gove. I'm sorry, Michael Gove, but during your time you did a very naughty thing there by changing the rules to support teachers to exclude black students, and a lot of them got excluded. And once the their teacher made that decision, that was it. I've been involved in those sort of representation, and it made me feel very, very sad. You know, and so you can't just. I can understand a child being excluded for doing something very naughty, but at the same time, you have to have a mechanism to bring them back in.
Yeah,
you know, you can't just exclude them and put them out there. You have to have a mechanism to bring them back in, right? Or else you're creating a rod for your own backs. And society need to understand that when you behave like that, and thinking, well, oh, that's it then, we've solved our problem. No, you don't, because some of these guys who end up carrying these guns, and that's stray bullet. That's stray bullet. I call it a stray bullet. That stray bullet may just hit one of your children or one of your family members. Just
we need a redemptive spirit. We need a redemptive spirit.
Absolutely.
It's about redemption.
Indeed. But I'd like to, indeed. What I'd like to say, though, I'd like to just give a big up to our colleagues in Jet UK for the great support. So it's not just me alone; it's a team of us. Okay, and also the Jamaican High Commission. They've been quite supportive towards us. Over the years, but we also partner with the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, in particular, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade in Jamaica. But also our colleagues in Vital Elite Supplementary School, our management committee, our parents and members, our staff, our teachers are absolutely fantastic. So we thank all of those people and all those who actually contribute to help in what we do.
What is it saying? It takes a village.
Absolutely.
To bring a child up?
Yes, absolutely.
It certainly does.
We need to, indeed, And we need to continue to do that, you know, to continue to.
Seymour, thank you so much for coming on the show today, man. Time's up and we've got to go. Thank you so much for all your help, for all your support, for your contribution over the years.
Thank you.
And don't run, don't disappear.
Okay.
Miss the show. You got to be on this show. So thank you, folks, for tuning in today to the Message Talk Show. We'll see you again next week, Thursday, 11 o'clock. Tune in. Get your friends. Get your breakfast. Get everything around you. And be ready for the only show that you listen to, 11 o'clock on a Thursday, the Message Talk Show with host Alex Gordon. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.